They said NPR was unbiased. Turns out that was a lie. 87 Democrats in their newsroom, 0 Republicans. They buried Hunter Biden's laptop, pushed Russia collusion, and laughed off the lab leak. And guess what? You're still paying for it with your tax dollars.
In his story last year wrote, in the D.C. area, editorial positions at NPR, he said he found 87 registered Democrats, 0 Republicans. Is that accurate?
We do not track the numbers or the voter registration, but I find that concerning.
Award-winning journalist who worked 25 years at NPR, Mr. Berliner, was he lying when he wrote that?
I am not presuming such. I just we don't track that information about our journalists.
87 to 0, and you're not biased?
I think that is concerning if those numbers are accurate.
It's concerning. I mean, it wasn't 44-43. It wasn't 60-27. It wasn't 70-17. It wasn't even 80-7. It was 87 Democrats, 0 Republicans, and you say NPR is not biased. How about the big stories over the last few years? According to Mr. Berliner, again, he wrote on the Trump-Russia story, he wrote, at NPR, we hitched our wagon to Trump's most visible antagonist, Representative Adam Schiff. He said they interviewed him 25 times. Is that accurate?
I was not there at the time, but those numbers sound accurate. Yes.
Those sound accurate. But then he said when the Mueller report came out and they said, Robert Mueller said he found no evidence of collusion, he said Russiagate faded from our programming. Is that accurate?
Again, I was not there at the time. I couldn't say.
You couldn't say?
I was not at NPR at the time.
You didn't prepare for that? You knew we were going to ask you about this guy, didn't you? It's come up like 6,000 times already in the hearing.
I just couldn't say whether it faded from our coverage, sir.
How about this story? October 2020, the New York Post had the Hunter Biden laptop story, and one of those editors, I guess one of those 87 Democrat editors, said this: we don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories. We don't want to waste the listeners' and readers' times on stories that are just pure distractions. Was that a pure distraction story?
Our current editorial leadership believes that that was a mistake, as do I.
Yeah, the whole country knows that was a mistake. Definitely impacted the election, or I think it certainly impacted the election. How about the COVID origin story? That's a pretty big story too, right? Mr. Berliner said, we became fervent members of the team Natural Origin, even declaring that the lab leak was debunked by scientists. Turns out, though, the lab leak is what most people think actually caused the COVID virus.
Sorry, is there a question there?
There is. You guys were 0 for 3 on the three of the biggest stories in the last 5 years. You guys were 0 for 3, and yet you maintain that NPR is not biased?
Congressman, I do not believe we are politically biased. No, we are a nonpartisan organization.
Nonpartisan organization. What's happening to your listeners over the last 5 years? Went up, down, or stayed the same?
It has gone up and down and is now going back up.
Well, I thought 5 years ago it was at 60 million. And you said in your opening statement, I think, 43 million.
That's correct.
So 43 million now, and it was at 60 million 5 years ago. I can do some math. That looks like it went down.
And is now going back up.
It's now going back up?
Yes, it is.
How much has it went back up?
It's gone up a couple of millions over the past years.
So you went from 60 million to 41 million. Now you're back up to 43 million.
In a year's time, I'm very proud of that growth, sir.
Okay, you're proud of that growth. Okay. But over 5 years, it's went down 18 million.
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Should taxpayers subsidize NPR?
I believe that taxpayers subsidize local stations, sir. That is the vast majority of what
I thought you said you got 11 million from Corporation of Public Broadcasting, which is taxpayer funded directly to you, right?
That is to support the public radio.
And then local stations get it from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, right? They get taxpayer money.
100 million that goes to the local
100 million goes to local stations, and then those local stations buy back programming and content from you. So that money goes to the local stations, comes back to you, gets routed through the local stations, all taxpayer money.
Those fees are actually based on private donations rather than on federal funding.
Well, we all know money's fungible, so some of it gets put in there.
Certainly, we could agree that money is fungible.
What? More money for less listeners. You fired the guy who pointed all this out, who said that you were so biased to the left that you lost listeners, which is exactly happening, and you're here maintaining that, oh, you need to continue to get taxpayer money.
I did not fire Mr. Berliner, sir.
Okay, the guy that left after all that. Understand. Are you fundraising off today's hearing?
Sir, I believe that there was a message that went out earlier today letting people know we were coming in. Yes.
Yeah, and at the bottom of the message it said, donate now, right?
I don't recall the exact language.
I can show it to you. Right there it is, donate now. I mean, I'm not against fundraising. We all do it. I mean, I get it. But it's, I assume this fundraising is probably going to all the left listeners who are subsidized content by the taxpayers, and that's
The
the
gentleman's
rub.
time has
That's
expired.
the rub. I yield back.
I now recognize Ms. Randall from Washington for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. You know,
Welcome back to Jace Manoir. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe right now so you don't miss the truth the mainstream refuses to tell you. So let's talk about this hearing. NPR, the so-called nonpartisan public radio that takes your taxpayer dollars, just got grilled in front of Congress. And what came out? Exactly what we've been saying for years. NPR is nothing but a left-wing megaphone. One of their own, Uri Berliner, a guy who worked there for 25 years, exposed the rot. He found 87 registered Democrats in editorial positions and not a single Republican. None. Now, ask yourself, how on earth can they claim to be unbiased when their entire newsroom is a Democrat echo chamber? That's not balance, that's propaganda. Look at the track record. On Trump and Russia, they hitched their wagon to Adam Schiff, putting him on the air 25 times. But when the Mueller report showed no collusion, NPR went silent. On the Hunter Biden laptop story, their editors called it a distraction. We now know that was real, and yes, it influenced the 2020 election. And on COVID's origins, NPR ran with Team Natural Origin and dismissed the lab leak theory as bunk. Today, the majority of Americans believe the lab leak is the most likely explanation. 3 of the biggest stories in recent years, and NPR was wrong on all of them. Meanwhile, their audience has cratered. 5 years ago, they had 60 million listeners. But 43 million. That's a massive collapse. And yet they're still raking in your taxpayer money, directly and indirectly. Local stations get hundreds of millions in federal funding, then funnel it right back to NPR for content. Money is fungible. It's all taxpayer subsidy, no matter how they spin it. And get this, while being questioned about their bias and their funding, NPR was actively fundraising off the hearing. At the bottom of their message? Donate now. So not only are they propped up with our tax dollars, they're cashing in politically from the controversy. Folks, this is exactly why people are fed up. NPR isn't a neutral news outlet. It's a taxpayer-funded propaganda arm for the left, and it's time Congress stops forcing us to subsidize it. If you're tired of paying for fake news, then you're in the right place. Stick with Jace Manoir for the truth they don't want you to hear. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to know what's really going on.
That he went on.
Yeah, I mean, he said more than circumstantial evidence, more proof that there was collusion between President Trump and Russia, and it was just all false. And frankly, now we know it was. Now that we've seen information, now that the Durham report has indicted Mr. Zussman and Mr. Danchenko, and even the Washington Post has had to apologize and retract some of the things they wrote back then based on things Mr. Schiff was saying. And I think this is important for members of Congress to understand. This wasn't just any member of Congress making that statement. This wasn't just any chairman making that statement. This was the chairman of the Intel Committee, the committee that gets additional information than the rest of us get, going on television and saying something that was not true. That's the concern. And that is why so many Americans are upset with what took place for 3 years, all based on baloney. So much baloney that the Washington Post had to walk it back. So this is what's critical. And, you know, look, but to Mr. Cole's point, we're happy to work with the inspector. We like the inspector generals. Inspector General Horowitz, his reports on what the FISA court's been doing, those have been tremendous. So we want to work with them. We want to get information. But it would have been nice if they would have worked with us and we could have put something together. But no, couldn't do it that way. We're going to just pile it in one bill. We're going to bring it in front of the Rules Committee, take it to the floor, and pass it.
Congressman Jim Jordan didn't hold back. In a scorching speech, he slammed the claims of Trump-Russia collusion, labeling them as outright lies.
Welcome back to Capitol Insights. Today we're diving into one of the most fiery moments in Congress. Jim Jordan absolutely obliterating the false Trump-Russia collusion claims and exposing Adam Schiff's misleading narratives. For years, we've been told a story that turned out to be built on nothing, and now even major media outlets are walking back their words. But Jim Jordan didn't just call it out, He broke it down, piece by piece, leaving Congress completely speechless. One thing is clear, the American people deserve the truth. What do you think? Should